The trauma and abuse behind one of Nickelodeon's most popular kids shows exposed.
It wasn't dealing with anybody on the shows or anything, right?
It was a child actor.
On one of our shows?
Yes.
Rumor has it that Brian Peck could be in hot water soon, with some serious charges looming. Apparently, child actor Drake Bell spilled the tea, confirming all the shady stuff Peck allegedly did to him and other young actors. So what exactly is going on? Actor and dialogue coach Brian Peck was sentenced to 16 months in prison in 2004 after he pleaded no contest to 2 counts of SA against an unknown Nickelodeon child actor. Peck, then 43, was working as a dialect coach for the 15-year-old actor and was teaching him at his home when the offenses are said to have taken place. He was arrested after the boy's parents reported him to the police, and court documents reveal that Peck was originally charged with 11 counts of harmful acts on a young person. He ultimately pleaded no contest to just 2 counts. While the court found him guilty of both, the remaining counts were dismissed. Now, 2 decades later, Drake Bell has come forward as the child actor who was involved in the case, and he will speak out about his allegations in Investigation Discovery's upcoming TV series, Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV. Drake was just 5 years old when he first started acting, appearing in an episode of Home Improvement and in the movie Jerry Maguire before he got his breakthrough role on The Amanda Show when he was 12. Drake was a regular on the Nickelodeon series from 1999 until its cancellation in 2002, and in 2003 he was cast as one of the titular characters in the popular series Drake and Josh. And a new teaser trailer for Quiet on Set showed several talking heads questioning who Peck's victim could have been before Drake, now 37, was shown preparing to break his silence. An accompanying press release reads, "Former Nickelodeon star Drake Bell will be sharing publicly for the first time the story of the AB he suffered at the hands of Brian Peck, his former dialogue coach who was convicted in 2004 for his crimes against Drake and ordered to register as an S offender." The allegations surrounding Peck recently resurfaced after the cast of Boy Meets World discussed their relationship with him in an episode of their podcast, Pod Meets World, last month. In the episode, stars Ryder Strong and Will Friedle admitted to feeling shame and guilt for supporting Peck amid his court case, as they recalled the friendship that Peck struck up with them when he started working on the ABC sitcom back in 1997. Ryder was just 16 years old when he first met Peck, Will was 19, and Peck was 37. Despite the large age gap, it was alleged that Peck would attend parties and social events with Ryder while simultaneously forging a close friendship with Will, and eventually became part of their most trusted inner circle. The 2 men and their co-host, Danielle Fishel, claimed that Peck would impress his young colleagues by name-dropping all of the famous people he knew and had worked with over the years, and said that he would be incredibly charming and funny as he repeatedly joined them for lunch on set. When Peck was arrested in 2003, 3 years after Boy Meets World had ended, both Will and Ryder alleged that they were misled by him and claimed that he insisted that he was the real victim in the case. The stars clarified that they had no idea about all of the counts that Peck was initially charged with and only knew about the 2 he pleaded no contest to. Ryder explained, "He only admitted to one thing, but he was charged originally with a bunch of things. I never heard about the other things because back then, you couldn't Google to find out what people were being charged with." Ryder then speculated that Peck had actually made a plea deal by admitting to some but not all of the charges, saying, "It looks like he was being charged with a series of crimes which we did not know, and that's really disturbing." And reflecting on the moment that Peck allegedly called on him for support, Will claimed, "He called me to his house, which I'd been to maybe twice, so that alone was weird, and he sat me down. He said to me, 'Hey, this is what's happening, but this is what happened.' He was crying the whole time. We'd just done this film together and he'd got me this role." Will shared his regret as he alleged that Peck convinced him that while he had committed the act against the minor, he was the real victim because he had been pursued and worn down by his accuser. "The story makes complete sense, the way that he was saying it," Will added, before poignantly adding, "I look back on it now, and it makes me want to cry that I was ever that naive." Ryder was apparently told a similar story, with the star alleging, "He didn't say that nothing had happened. By the time we heard about the case and knew anything about it, it was always in the context of, 'I did this thing, I am guilty, I am going to take whatever punishment the government determines, but I'm the victim of jailbait.'" Peck allegedly then asked Will, Ryder, and several other actors that he knew to go and support him in court, which they did. Will recalled, "We're then sitting in that courtroom on the wrong side of everything, of course having no idea. It was filled with child actors to the point that the victim's mother turned around and said, 'Look at all the famous people you brought brought with you. And it doesn't change what you did to my kid. I just sat there wanting to die, Will continued. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? It was horrifying all the way around. Peck has been working steadily in the acting world since his release from prison, and Ryder even recalled bumping into him at a showbiz party 7 years ago. Meanwhile, Drake himself has been at the center of allegations in recent years, with his ex-girlfriend Melissa Lingefelt accusing him of verbal and physical AB in 2020, which Drake vehemently denied. In 2021, Drake was charged with attempted endangering of young people and disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. Drake initially pleaded not guilty, but later agreed to a plea deal and said that he was guilty of both charges. His alleged victim read out a lengthy victim impact statement ahead of his sentencing, where she claimed that Drake had her from the age of 12 before essaying her in 2017 when she was 15 years old and he was 31. Her statement read, "I started off as a fan of him. I was definitely one of his biggest fans. Everyone who knew me as a child knew that he was a hero to me. I would have done anything for him. When I was 11, I learned that my aunt had a mutual friend who knew the defendant. That led to my aunt taking me to meet him for the first time in 2014 when I was 12. The alleged victim went on to say that after their first meeting, she began to frequently spend time with Drake between the ages of 12 and 15, and that they would also speak online. Drake's attorney, Ian Friedman, disputed parts of the victim's statement, including a claim that Drake exchanged explicit photos with the alleged victim and that Drake had SA'd her. Drake ended up being sentenced to 2 years probation and 200 hours of community service in July 2021, and he acknowledged that his conduct was wrong. He added to the judge in a statement, "I'm sorry that the victim was harmed in any way, but that was obviously not my intention. I have taken this matter very, very seriously. And again, I just want to apologize to her and anyone else who may have been affected by my actions." Anyway, Bell is sharing his story in the coming investigation discovery series, Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, set to air March 17th and 18th. Quiet on Set, produced by Maxine Productions and Sony Pictures Television, nonfiction in association with Business Insider, examines the toxic underpinnings of iconic children's television shows created by Dan Schneider in the 90s and early 2000s. The docuseries is directed by Mary Robertson and Emma Schwartz. In 2022, BI published an investigation into Schneider's children's TV empire. Former child actors and crew members who worked on shows including The Amanda Show, Zoe 101, and Victorious told Business Insider that Schneider created an uncomfortable, bizarre environment on set. In 2000, a writer on The Amanda Show filed a gender discrimination and hostile workplace claim, saying that Schneider persistently requested massages, according to people with knowledge, who said the case was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. Others said that Schneider wrote scenes and campaigned for young female stars to wear skimpy outfits. Schneider parted ways with Nickelodeon in 2018. Russell Hicks, Nickelodeon's former president of content and production, said in a statement in 2022 that all of Schneider's work was carefully scrutinized and approved. In recent years, headlines about Bell have focused on his mental health and substance use. In 2021, a young fan accused him of sending explicit messages and having intimate contact with her in 2017 when she was 15. Bell pleaded guilty to a charge of attempted young people endangerment and a charge of disseminating harmful material to a minor, though he denied allegations that he had intimate contact with the fan or sent explicit messages. He said he stopped messaging with her when he found out she was a teenager. Quiet on Set features exclusive interviews with former child stars and crew members from Schneider's shows, many of whom are speaking publicly for the first time. This documentary comes after Alexa Nicholas, a former child actor best known for the series Zoe 101, called out Nickelodeon and their Schneider for ABing stars on the Let's Get Into It show in 2023. Before that, on a 2022 episode of Real Pod with Victoria Garrick, Nicholas alleged she was the victim of harassment during her time on Zoe 101. Jeanette McCurdy also revealed in 2022 how Dan Schneider allegedly SA'd her. And that's not all. She spilled even more scalding tea by accusing Nickelodeon of supposedly shielding Schneider when his alleged dark secrets started to surface.
In her book, she writes that after Sam and Cat was canceled, Nickelodeon offered her a $300,000 thank you gift if she agreed to never speak publicly about her experience at the network.
I just said, no, it's not happening. That sounds like hush money to me. Not doing it, not taking it.
In the past few years, the Sam and Cat actress has been really vocal about all the things that went down in Nickelodeon. In fact, she went as far as to write a memoir titled I'm Glad My Mom Died, where she delved deeper into how the industry, together with her mom, AB'd her and used her for money.
I think she wanted me to have a better life than she had, but I also think Her approach was very unhealthy and informed by her own lack of self-worth.
For starters, McCurdy's memoir recounts a turbulent upbringing, revealing a deeply complicated relationship with her mother, Deborah McCurdy, who tragically passed away in 2013. Jeanette describes a traumatic childhood where her mother started altering her appearance at a young age, bleaching her hair and whitening her teeth when she was just 10 years old. By 11, Deborah was instructing Jeanette on calorie restriction, sparking a long and painful battle with ED. What's more, Deborah also seemed adamant about pushing her daughter into an acting career from a tender age.
Her approach was very unhealthy and informed by her own lack of self-worth, and she lived vicariously through me.
When Jeanette reluctantly landed her iconic role as Sam Puckett on Nickelodeon's iCarly at the age of 15, she claims her mother was ecstatic. This marked the beginning of a period that, despite Sam Puckett's humorous and witty on-screen persona, was anything but comfortable for the young actress. Within the memoir, McCurdy offers candid insights into her experiences with an unnamed figure she refers to as the Creator. Many have surmised this figure to be Dan Schneider, the producer behind iCarly and several other hit Nickelodeon shows, such as Victorious and Sam and Cat. In 2021, the New York Times uncovered allegations of verbal AB against Schneider, though it found no evidence of SA. McCurdy, in her memoir, claims that the unnamed boss, who she strongly hints is Schneider, faced trouble with the network due to accusations of his emotional AB. McCurdy goes on to detail her encounters with the Creator, alleging that he supplied her with alcohol despite her being underage in the United States at the time. She recalls him coaxing her to take a sip of his drink, assuring her that it would give her a little edge. In response to his insistence, McCurdy reportedly said, "No thanks," expressing concern about her age and the potential legal consequences. The Creator allegedly persisted, claiming that other actors from Victorious frequently consumed alcohol together, contrasting them with the seemingly more wholesome iCarly cast, suggesting the latter needed to be edgier. Within her memoir, McCurdy also delves into her discomfort with the way she felt she was being sexualized on iCarly. She recounts being photographed in a bikini during a wardrobe fitting and expresses her unease about her body and the fear of being perceived as a S object. Adding to her unsettling experiences, McCurdy describes an incident where the Creator gave her an unsolicited shoulder massage, which escalated from a pat to a massage. She wrote, "He pats my shoulders and then the pat turns into a massage," adding that he told her, "Oof, you're so tense. My shoulders do have a lot of knots in them, but I don't want the Creator to be the one rubbing them out," she added. "I want to say something to tell him to stop, but I'm so scared of offending him." What's more, even her first on-screen kiss, which occurred with co-star Nathan Kress during an episode of iCarly, was a source of discomfort. McCurdy vividly describes her mental and physical struggle during the scene, indicating that the Creator, who directed the episode, demanded more from her despite her evident discomfort. "Our lips are touching," McCurdy recalled. "He's moving his mouth around a bit, but I can't move mine. I'm frozen. His eyes are closed. Mine aren't. Mine are wide open, staring at him. It's so odd, staring at a person while your faces are touching. I don't like it. I can smell his hair gel," she continued. "Move your head around a bit more, Jeanette," the Creator yells from off camera. McCurdy said she honestly tried to do what was asked of her, but her body was stiff and unflinching. "My mind is saying, who cares that this is your first kiss, that your first kiss is on camera? Get it over with. Do what you're told," she said. "My body is saying no. I don't want this. I don't want my first kiss to be like this. I want my first kiss to be a real first kiss, not a kiss for a TV show." The star said that she suppressed the romantic side of her and was embarrassed by it because her mother, Deborah McCurdy, didn't encourage it. Because of her lack of experience, McCurdy found filming to be nerve-wracking. "You try to just go with it, and if you're Nathan, my co-star, it seems like you can," she wrote. "But if you're me, you can't. If you're me, you're just thinking about every single little thing that's happening, and your mind is racing, and you can't wait for it to be over with." Perhaps most shocking of all is McCurdy's revelation that Nickelodeon attempted to silence her by offering her $300,000 in what she describes as hush money.
That sounds like hush money to me. Not doing it, not taking it.
This offer came with the stipulation that she would not speak publicly about her experiences on the show, particularly regarding the Creator's alleged misconduct. In response to this offer, McCurdy expressed incredulity, questioning the network's moral compass and ethical standards. She wrote, "Nickelodeon is offering me $300,000 in hush money to not talk talk publicly about my experience on the show, my personal experience of the creators AB. This is a network with shows made for young people. Shouldn't they have some sort of moral compass? Shouldn't they at least try to report to some sort of ethical standard? Jeanette McCurdy's candid and shocking revelations not only cast a harsh light on the challenges faced by child actors, but also raise critical questions about the responsibilities of networks and studios to safeguard the welfare of their talent. In any case, Schneider's abrupt exit from Nickelodeon raised eyebrows in 2018. At the time of Dan Schneider's exit from Nickelodeon, reports had been swirling of possible controversial behavior on set. The March 2018 Deadline report on the producer's split with the kid-friendly TV network included notes about allegations of Schneider's temper disrupting work, production delays, ballooning budgets, and complaints of abusive behavior against him filed by his staff. More concerning was a section of Deadline's report that contained the following. For years, Schneider had been under a cloud of suspicion over the treatment of some younger stars of his shows. Among the things that have raised eyebrows are his tweeted photos of the toes of his young female stars. However, Nickelodeon, for their part, kept their statement vague, saying, "Following many conversations together about next directions and future opportunities, Nickelodeon and our longtime creative partner Dan Schneider, Schneider's Bakery, have agreed to not extend the current deal. Since several Schneider's Bakery projects are wrapping up, both sides agreed that this is a natural time for Nickelodeon and Schneider's Bakery to pursue other opportunities and projects. Dan and his Schneider's Bakery team have created a string of lasting, groundbreaking hits over the years, including iCarly, Drake and Josh, Victorious, Keenan and Kel, and the current #1 hit show on Nickelodeon, Henry Danger," the statement continued. "We thank Dan and his Schneider's Bakery producers, executives, and social media team for their immeasurable contributions to Nickelodeon, and we wish them the best in their future endeavors. And Dan and Schneider's Bakery are proud of the work they did together with Nickelodeon and will always remain big fans of the network." In any case, it's almost too shocking to bear hearing about the ordeals these young actors endured. And what's got all eyebrows raised is the jaw-dropping revelation that Nickelodeon apparently stood idly by, failing to protect these rising stars. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.